Hi everyone, welcome to another Crafty Hallett video. Today we're going to be talking about bows. If you've seen in the catalogue, we have a Sizzix die that's the gift bow Bigs die, and it makes the most beautiful bows. Here's an example of one on one of my boxes. This box was made using the new envelope punch board, which I'm so excited about telling you about, but you'll have to wait a little bit longer on that. And you can see it's quite a nice size bow, but there's also a little bow on there as well. And the little bow can be used and adapted to put onto smaller presents. This is a candle holder box with a smaller bow. And this is a sort of embellishment that I've made to stick on a present that's been made with a number of the bows popped on top of each other, which is all very well and good if you have a big shot and if you have the die. But what if you don't? Well, I wanted to show you a really simple way of making a bow that looks like the little bow on top that you can make with the big die, but you don't need the big die for. Because not everybody has a big shot, not everyone has the die. So here is the cutest little bow that I've made using our punches. So it's really economical. One of the things about using a die perhaps is it uses quite a lot of our paper, whereas this you can cut from a piece of paper and is no bigger than 2.5 inches by 5 inches. So what do you need? Well, you're going to need the 2 by 1 3/8 oval punch, the word window punch, and the hexagon punch for the tails, but that's not strictly necessary. You can get away without using it. This is also not strictly necessary. You can get away without using it as long as you cut a strip that's that wide. But the one that is strictly necessary is this oval. So how do we get started? Well, you're going to need to punch out 2 ovals, a rectangle, which is 2.5 inches by 1 1/4 inches. So here's our 2 ovals, our rectangle by 2.5 by 1 1/4, and then 2 of the word window punches. Then I'm going to show you quickly how I did it. So you take a piece like this, and you very carefully, because you're going to be really economical on the paper, punch out 1, take your snips, trim that little piece off. Shame you have to throw that away, it looks like a C, perhaps you can make it into something. Trim that one off as well. Then trim a straight line. Now you can either put this in your trimmer to trim it to the right length, or if you've got grid paper like this, you can just line it up on the edge of the grid paper. But before you do, cut out your 2 word windows. That's 1, and that's 2. And then the rectangle which remains, you can just snip like that, and that will be the exact piece for the tails. Clever, huh? Then you can either trim the tails by hand, or you can use the hexagon punch, and I like using the hexagon punch. So you just line up the piece of paper in the hexagon punch like this. So you can see that I've just put the tails in, press down, and you get a perfectly ended tail. Now, of course, you can cut this with your scissors. You don't have to use a punch, but if you've got one handy, why not? So then the next step that you're going to need is stamping dimensionals, and you see on the dimensionals you've got the nice hexagons, but at the side here you've got half hexagons. Those are what you're going to need. So just take your snips and trim off, whilst it's still on the backing, because it's a lot easier that way, just 2 of the little half hexagons. Take 1 of them and pop it on the edge here of an oval, like that. Peel the backing off and fold it gently. You're almost rolling it as opposed to folding it. Don't press down too hard, because you want to keep that nice loop in there. And then just place it on there like that, so that the dimensional is holding that together. Then I'm going to do the same on the other one. Again with half a hexagon. I'm going to place it there. Woo, hopefully not to my finger. And then again roll it over and place it down, pinching there, but keeping the loop nice and bow-like here. Then this piece here, you take your snail and run a piece along on the right side of the paper. Oops. So it's good and sticky. And then I'm going to stick the bow half to it like this, and then I'm going to stick the other bow half to it, but I'm going to leave a little tiny gap in the middle, like about that wide, which is a little bit under the width of the bow, so that when I fold the bow strip, the other window strip round, it'll fold and make it a bow. So then again, this time I'm putting sticky strip on the wrong side, snail on the wrong side of the bow, and I'm then going to just wrap that middle piece around like that, so it wraps around the middle of your bow. And then this is my ribbon piece, and I need to cut this in half because otherwise the tails will stick out funny, and chop the corners off like that, so it's sort of like a little arrow piece that you're making. So you've got two pieces that look like arrowheads, and on those we're just going to pop a dab of sticky strip across, of snail across the top like this on each piece, and that then just sticks in underneath. And there you have it, a really quick and simple little teeny tiny bow, which uses tiny amounts of paper but can be really pretty and effective. I hope you've enjoyed watching my video. If you have, please watch some more and subscribe to my YouTube. Thanks. Bye.